you guys, I'm back. I haven't posted a video in a while, but I want you guys to know that I'm back. To my 22 followers, I'm back in this. Anyway, today, if you haven't checked out my other videos, they're going to be linked up there. Today I want to talk about kindness. I just got from church and they were talking about kindness and how mundane it seems, but how very important it is to actually think about kindness and practice that in your everyday life. I am not going to preach to y'all, but this sermon kind of hit me, so I want to talk about kindness in a different way. One day, like a couple of months ago, I was in church, and you know, you be feeling the spirit and stuff, like, oh God, yeah, let's clap, amen. And then all of a sudden you be like, okay, yeah, God, use me. I had one of these moments. It was like maybe in July, and I was at church, and I'm like, yes, God, use me. I want to be used. And then they always say, like, be careful what you ask for. I definitely wanted to be used, but I didn't know how immediate his response was going to be. So I was sitting there, I was happy, church, okay, let's go to the grocery store. I'm with my daughter. We're in a grocery store, and I'm like, grocery shopping, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy, and I feel like I honestly had an out-of-body experience, because even though I asked for this experience and it happened, I feel like I was being used rather than making a decision to do it. But I did ask to be used, right? So anyway, just listen to the story. So I'm in the grocery store and I'm walking, la-di-da-di-da-di, I'm happy, just going grocery shopping, and then all of a sudden, some guy with a suit on comes and asks me to scratch his back. And like I was a person. If you don't know me, I'm not a person who, you know, just runs around scratching random people, men backs that I don't know. I really don't like energies. I'm really in a grocery store like, yeah, let me get up out of here. I don't want nobody to talk to me. I'm the type of person that'll wear headphones in the store if I'm in there by myself. But this day I'm in there with my daughter. So I'm in tune and I'm having a beautiful day. It's Sunday, had a beautiful day. It's sunny outside. And he comes up to me and he says, scratch my back. Like magic. I didn't even think about it. I stick my hand, clean up this man's shirts, not even thinking about this man is itching. This man is itching and he's requesting that I scratch him. He itching. So I was just like, okay. And I just stick my hand up his back and he like, okay, you know, get a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher. So he has like this brace on. He has a shirt under his suit jacket. I'm only under his suit jacket. And he has a brace under it. So he was like, yeah, get up, go up a little higher. And I'm just like perfectly happy, just like squishing in there and rubbing this man's back. And then he's like, no, you know, lift it up and go up under the shirt. So I lift his shirt up and goes up under it and like gets to scratching his back. He has a additional shirt under there, so I'm not touching this man's skin, but I'm like scratching his back. And then while I'm doing it, I'm like the happiest person. I'm just delightful, just up in there. I'm the same person that I don't want nobody to talk to, and I'll wear headphones if I'm somewhere by myself. That's the type of person I am. But I'm just like willy-nilly just scratching this random man back who's itching. I have no idea. I haven't examined him. This could be a homeless man. I didn't even think about that. These are the things that I think about. Anyway, so I'm just doing it. And then my daughter walks up to me now. She's probably in the store looking for some stuff that I'm not finna buy anyway. So she walks up and she's just staring at me. And then she snaps me out of it. She's just looking at me laughing. And then I realize it all starts coming to me slowly, but imagine my hand's still up this man's back. He's talking to me. He's excited. He's like, thank you. You don't know how great this was. I really needed this. Like, he's like happy. And I realized my hand is up a stranger back who is itching from Lord knows what. And I'm just like so in tune. And once I got my hand out of his back, I literally felt like, I don't know how to explain what I felt. I felt overwhelmed and a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, at this point, I don't want to see this man again because I don't know what just happened. I don't know why I just scratched this man back. What is going on? Until I'm like at home and I'm realizing you just asked to be used and now you're in Walmart and 75th scratching man's backs. Anyway, so I'm like, what? I feel like I was being used rather than making a choice to actually decide. I feel like God wanted to show me something. Maybe being careful what you asking for, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with the man. Like, I'm not trying to say there's something wrong with me scratching his back. But the point of the story was showing kindness and kindness. So when I did that, I kind of later on as I evaluated, I'm like, okay, no, this story kind of made me think about kindness. So I wanted to throw that story out there. I feel like I was being used rather than making a choice to actually scratch this man back, because I feel like I literally had to come back to reality and realize what I was doing. And once I realized what I was doing, I felt a bit overwhelmed. But that is the kind of kindness they're talking about. You know, never know how you can help somebody or make their day. Another reason why I want to talk about this is because, I mean, this what they call a sermon about kindness really touched me. I've been watching The Shy from the beginning. I don't know if you guys watch that show. It's called The Shy. It is on Prime Video or something. Anyway, it's this character. His son dies, and somebody back due to gun violence, and he actually goes and kills the little boy who he thinks is his son's killer, but it really not. But he really didn't try to kill him, but he did. I can't explain this. Like, he was talking to him and he was nervous and the gun went off. That's kind of what happened. Anyway, so he's going through life being a murderer of a child who didn't do anything actually, but he's going through that. And then it's really just showing the way he made that very basic mistake in the way the world is treating him now, and the lack of kindness that he's getting. And I don't know, when I was in church and I was listening to that sermon, it was just making me feel that, because when Rodney is happening, when it's happening to him, people are being mean to him. He's trying to help people. He's trying to be kind. He's trying to get his life back together. And all they can see is the mistake he made. Maybe they don't know it's a mistake. Maybe they didn't take the time out to talk to him. And I know the rapper Common is on this episode, a few of these episodes with Rodney, and he's like a Muslim person, and he's like teaching him like kindness, show him kindness, letting him know you are better than your worst mistake. And I'm just looking at him, and then at some point he's talking to a Christian pastor. He's basically telling him, I don't care what you've done, you are better than your worst mistake. He's just showing this overwhelming kindness. And I don't know, it kind of touched me, because it's like, how many more people have made a mistake in the world, is just won't let them move past it. In real life, when I'm watching the show, it's easy for me to be kind. It's easy for me to feel his sympathy. It's easy for me to tear up when I see the world doing this to him. But in real life, can I really go be around a person who's possibly made a mistake and not see them for their biggest mistake? I don't know. But in this movie, it kind of opened my eyes to that and what people might be going through, and what a little bit of kindness. It's crazy how the sermon and the show that I've already watched like 90% of, but I hadn't watched it again, and I went and rewatched it to see what happened. Love the show. Anyway, I had to get to the bottom of, like, it was making me feel away, and how the sermon and this show, this guy Rodney off this show, is making me open my mind up to being just a little bit more gentle with people and understanding stories before you're judging them. Like, he's like literally trying to help find a missing girl. He finds a girl, I mean, she's dead at the end by the time he found her, but he gives somebody's family peace, but they can't see that. Nobody is seeing that. They only see his biggest mistake. And it just, give me an idea of the power of kindness. And one of the things the pastor talks about is, when you are up there with God or whoever you believe in, I believe in whoever you believe in, as long as he's telling you to be a good person. Let me just put that out there. And so when you go meet God, it's the side of the story, the side where people are kind and they look out for people. And then it's the side where people are evil and they're not considering those people, and how important kindness is. Even though it may seem mundane, you could change your life. You could change somebody else's life by just being a little bit more gentle with people. So on one side, it's the people who's gentle, and he says, you were there when I needed help. You were there when I needed a hug. You were there when I needed a smile and some kind words. You were there when I was fresh out of prison, I think he says, and I needed somebody to just tell me it's going to be okay and give me hope. And then he looks on the other side, and this is Jesus telling these people, you were there for me. And then he looks on the other side, and he says to the people who didn't show kindness, who didn't show patience, who didn't give grace, he's saying, you weren't there for me when I needed kindness. You weren't there for me when I needed a hug, when I needed somebody to show me grace. And then the people who's on the side, I guess the bad side, if you want to simplify it, who's on the bad side, they say, God, when did I not show you kindness? Why did I not show you grace? And they say God is in everybody. God is in everybody, and we are God's children, so we are a part of him. So the pastor goes down to say, when you didn't show that young man who needed a shoulder to lean on, and that person who just needed a hug or somebody to talk to. When you didn't show them the grace, you also didn't show God the grace, because he is in all of us. So I don't know, it just gave you a different way of looking at that. When you're standing up there with God and he goes back and he say, have you been more kind than you've been negative? You say, if you have $1, if I give you $1 for every kind thing you ever said, would you be rich? If I take $1 for every negative thing you ever said, will you be poor? I don't know. That just puts it into a different perspective and don't make being kind seem so mundane. Like it just seemed like, oh, you're supposed to be kind and nice. And he talks about how being kind and being nice is not the same thing. Being kind is the action behind the word being nice. It's what you physically do when somebody walks up to you and asks for you to scratch their back, and that touch, how I said, I don't like the exchange of energy. My energy was great that day. Maybe me just reaching in that man's shirt gave him a little bit of good energy that he needed to get through his day. You never know what people are going through. And he, like I said, he kind of explained to me, like, I'm glad you did this for me. Like, this was important. This made me feel good. So even though I'm one of those people that don't like touching people for energy, I never realized how that energy can be transferred to somebody who need it. And that's what this sermon kind of made me think about. I definitely will post a little clips of the sermon so you can get a little bit. It's not a church, but I feel like everybody can get hear a word about kindness. And this part of the show is where we introduce a quote. And I actually want to introduce a Bible verse. It says, the power of life and death is in the tongue. So, I don't know. I like that quote, kind of heard in the church today. The power of life and death is in the tongue. It's what you say to people and the way you treat people. Because I feel like if you've chosen to treat people unkindly, it's already been said in your head. You've already thought it through. So, it kind of is still the power of tongue. Where if you say something negative to somebody, it's still in the power of the tongue, life and death. So, be careful who you speak to and how you speak to people, and remember that you never know what people are going through. So take that moment to be kind. And when you're standing up there with God and he pointing out and you in those lines trying to figure out where you kind or where you evil, which line do you want to be in? Comment below if you like the podcast today. Make sure you like, share, and just let me know, have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard that quote? What time have you been kind? Do you ever feel like you've had an out-of-body experience with, I don't know, maybe you don't believe in God, but have you ever had an out-of-body experience? I feel like my little conversation I had was really out-of-body experience, because that is not something I would have done. I'm a practicing Christian. I'm practicing learning. I don't even think that was something before this conversation I would do again. So I know it was out of body experience. I literally was in my head, like when I'm realizing my hand is up there, I'm like, what is happening? And like when I'm coming to, I'm like, he's like, thank you. He says that to me, and I'm just smiling and to him very calm, but I'm freaking out. So if you ever had an experience like that, drop that in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Like I said, to my followers, I'm back down a video every day. Thank you guys for sticking in, and you're watching Mama's Talk by Janine B. Thank you.